It's Margarita, and today I'm going to tell you all about how to properly sample fragrances to know if you should buy them or not. Oh, the conundrum of knowing whether or not to buy a fragrance because you just smelled it one time and you've fallen in love. Don't fall in love too fast. There are so many reasons why you should not buy a fragrance, even if it is love at first sniff. I'm going to use this sample haul that I did with a shop on Etsy called Sugar Me Sweet. These are just some of the 88, yes, 88 that I bought samples of because I wanted to make sure that my fragrance collection has things that I truly love. Now, me being someone who loves gourmand fragrances, it is very easy for me to fall in love with anything that smells like food, especially if it smells like a bakery treat or something super fruity. And I know a lot of you can relate. It's like, oh, smells like a snack. It's got to be for me. And then you look in your collection and realize you have a bunch of similar things or things you're not reaching for because you have too many of a single type of scent. So to help cut back on that and to help eliminate a lot of the buyer's remorse and other negative feelings that go with, honestly, overconsumption, because it's real easy because fragrance can give you that dopamine hit. And it at the time it feels good and it smells good and it feels right. But no, espérate. You want to wait. wait. So this is how I recommend sampling fragrances to know if you should buy them. Now, of the 88 fragrances I got, I narrowed it down to 15 that made my short list. And I sampled these 15 more than once because the list was at about almost 30. And then I took it down to 15 because it's like, do I really want this? Do I really need this? And the way that I sample fragrances is, luckily these, for example, I'm gonna use these as an example. These are 2 ml. If you're able to get your hands on a 2 to 3 ml sample, that's pretty good. The 1 ml is really not enough in my opinion, unless you are just a light sprayer, and I am not. You want to be able to wear these under different conditions. So what I do is I do the initial spray. Now, for me, if I do not like the top of a fragrance, I will not buy it because I don't want to have to wait for a fragrance to develop for me to get to the parts that I like. I don't want to have to wait an hour to get to the good part. If I can't stand it at the opening, I do not buy it. And so some people say, oh, just wait till the dry down. I'm willing to wait till the dry down if the opening is also good. Otherwise, no. No matter how great the dry down is, if you are not going to enjoy all facets of that fragrance, just leave it be. Don't spend your money on that. Another thing is I like to test the longevity. So after I've gotten past the top of the fragrance, I want to see how it performs over time. And I typically try a fragrance at home first if I'm just not going out anywhere, just to see how it does under a controlled environment. If it passed my controlled environment test, I will wear it somewhere. This is how it gets tricky because you don't want to be caught with a fragrance that doesn't perform well and you're out and about. So always take a fragrance with you, like maybe even a decan or a travel size that you know you like and performs well, just in case you have to put that on while you're out. You don't want to be out here in these streets with no scent on because this stuff has worn out. So like I like to do my test number 2 with dancing. Dancing is a strenuous activity. You sweat, you turn up, your body's going to warm up and it's going to either amplify or wear off. And hopefully we want the fragrance to amplify. So I go dancing a couple times a week. I'm a salsa dancer. I love it. If you're a salsero or salsera, let me know in the comments. We can talk about that too. So if there's a fragrance that does not last through a couple hours of salsa dancing, I won't get it. Try number 3 is if I'm going to maybe work or something that is not strenuous, maybe even like a dinner or a date or something like that. Again, always take your backup with you if you are leaving the house, just to make sure. And if it passes my dance test, my date test, and my around the house test, then at that point we can decide if we go to step number 3, which is the do I really love it test. Because test number 1 is like, okay, I like the scent. Test number 2 is I like the performance. Test number 3 is I like the smell, but do I love it? Check your collection. Anything that makes your short list, check your collection for fragrances you already have that may be similar or that may put you in the same mindset. If you do not have anything that is very similar to that fragrance or anything that you can even layer to replicate that fragrance, then you know it is okay to buy. A lot of people like certain fragrance notes, and we tend to have a lot of fragrances that play around those notes. It's like, I got 99 vanillas now. I don't hate on vanilla because that's my favorite note, but it's like, do we really need that many, especially if they start smelling the same? So it's like, at that point, you really want to curate. So let me know in the comments if you found this helpful. And also, do not get rid of your samples of the ones that you kind of like, because what can happen is fragrances over time macerate. If you like the scent and you love the scent, so if you pass this test number 1 and number 3 and you have issues on the longevity, let it macerate for a bit. And this is something that I've been learning. There were some fragrances I didn't quite care for at the beginning because they just hadn't had time to sit and they didn't perform like I wanted it to. Then I come back a couple months later and I'm like, oh my God, I love this, because they had a chance to really develop and mature. So if there's fragrances that you kind of like, but you didn't like the performance, if that is the only objection you had, hold on to it for a few months and come back and then see. So I actually hold on to my samples 6 months to a year. The ones that kind of made my list, like I kind of like it, but I'm not in love, but I like it enough to really think about it and it's still on my mind, save those. So like these, even though these didn't make my final list, I'm saving them because I'm going to play with some layering combos to see if I can create something. Maybe there's something that is super expensive that I don't want to pay $300 for, but I can get something really close. You can watch my video on what I did with for a Kriegler fragrance that was $1,000 that I was able to remedy for 15. You know, it's amazing what you can create with layering, and you can even layer it with something that does pack a punch as far as performance. There are so many fragrances you can create with a bunch of little things, and getting samples helps curb the craving to just buy full bottles of things that we're not going to use. I have so many bottles I don't even reach for. So I've been in the process of decluttering and I'm like, wow, I spent all this money and I don't even like it like that. You know, I don't even reach for it. It doesn't excite me anymore. A lot of times we get that FOMO. We are influenced to buy something because somebody spoke it up and then we got it like, this can't be what they were talking about because this is not doing it for me. So I think that sampling is a very inexpensive way to try great fragrances. If you want to keep getting something new, if you like that rush of getting new fragrances, I admit, you know, get a bunch of samples and then you can play with those. And it's like, hey, new fragrance. And it's not going to break the bank. You don't have to have the guilt or the buyer's remorse of spending a lot on a bottle just for it to just collect dust on your shelf, or you end up selling it at a fraction of the cost and you've lost money. Let me know in the comments if you found this helpful. Let me know what kind of things you would like me to talk about on this channel, because it is my goal to grow this channel exponentially and I need your help to do so. So I want your input. Let's talk about it. Let's get to know each other in the comments. And until next time, I am Margarita and you have an awesome day. Bye.